Hello all. What I'd like to do today is just take you on a little tour of my studio. It's by no means a professional studio. It's just stuff I've gathered over the years. A bit here, a bit there, a bit donated. I've quite a few pieces donated, and thanks to those people, they know who they are. Also, family members have bought me a bass guitar. My wife has bought me 2 guitars. I'm originally a drummer, so I do have an acoustic kit, but it's tidied away at the moment, so I'm using the electric kit, which I'll show you shortly. I don't have any soundproofing in this room. I've found over the last few years that I don't really need it, bar a bit of traffic noise, which you probably will hear. I would do most of my recording at night, so the road is usually pretty quiet. I live in a rural area, so there's no one around. So we'll get started with my trusty little recorder, which is the BR600. Now, I've had this piece of equipment for about 14 years and I really can't say enough about it. It's never let me down, touch wood. It's very outdated now. I have it since 2005. I've done all my recordings on it. It has its limitations now, of course, with technology. It'll only support up to a 1 gig card, and it's a compact flash. I managed to source some from the Boss site themselves, which is quite handy. So I do have enough cards to last me quite a few hours recording, and of course once I upload it to the computer, then I just wipe the memory card, but it keeps all of the core information on your computer. Now, the BR600 is, compared to stuff that you can get today, I'd say most musicians would just laugh at it, but I think it has some brilliant guitar sounds in it. The recording is always clean and crisp. There's really good mastering equipment in it, and it's got all its own EQ, reverb, chorus, everything, and that's all adaptable, and you can get whatever kind of sound you want. And I've always been able to get the sound I've wanted from this. But then I used to mix through just an ordinary stereo, and I found once I went to computer, I was losing an awful lot. So I then convinced myself that I needed a mixing desk. So what I decided to get was this. And this is a 12-channel mixer. It's the Behringer Xenyx X1222 USB. So it does have a USB interface, but the model up from this has the proper USB interface. When I bought this, I thought I could just record straight into my computer, but it just turns out that it'll only transfer certain sounds. Now, if I had the software on my computer, I could link this with the software, but not the way I go about recording. It's a really good desk. This desk could be good enough to do a small gig with. It's got plenty of power, and it's also got separate power switch for condenser mic, which was great. So what I do is I link my BRS600 into this. It goes through the mix. Sorry, no, it doesn't go through the mix. It goes through the graphic equalizer and the effects channel here. If I want, I have my bass, I have my drums in this, and also my microphone. I then record that into the BR600. I've created a loop where my stuff coming out from the BR600 goes into my mixing desk. I get one mix here, and I can also mix the sound in the BR600. So I'm getting a double mix in effect. And then this is all comes back into the BR600 and is recorded. The BR600 itself can take 2 microphones and a guitar or a bass, but I like to put the bass, I put my guitars through the BR600 because it's got good effects. I like to put the bass through the desk, it's a warmer sound, and I can control the effects a lot more on it. There's only a bass converter on the BR600, so it's very hard to play your bass through unless it's through extremely clean channel. Now all of that is going out through my monitors. Beforehand I had just a messy system going into my stereo, and my stereo coming out through my stereo speakers, which are obviously were 3-way speakers, but very just not monitors. So I bought a pair of active monitors and haven't looked back since. So what I decided to get was a pair of Yamaha HS8s. Oh man, I just can't get over the sound on these things. I'm so glad I bought them. They were quite expensive, but just the icing on the cake, it makes your mixing so much easier. You hear every little mistake. Now I leave mistakes in my music on purpose, but it really, if you're just slightly off tone, it's just such a crisp mix. I'm really enjoying them, and it's made a huge difference to the amount of work I want to be doing when what you're producing sounds really good. They have a really good function. On the back there's a decibel adjuster for your bass, so you can have them pushed up right up against a wall if you need to, and you just turn the bass down. I have mine set on half because that's what works well in this room. Even though there's a sloped ceiling, the acoustics in this room are quite good. I would often play my acoustic kit here, and it's like being in a hall. You get a lovely boom. Now the drum kit I'm using for most of my recordings is this. It's Millennium MPS 750. This comes from a company in Holland called Thomann. No, I'm not getting anything from Thomann to say this, but it's a great little kit for what I'm doing. I wouldn't gig with it. It's not strong enough to gig with, even though it purports to be good enough to gig with. I would break it in the first hour. But it's perfect for this. It's perfect for home practice, for the home studio. It's got plenty of different types of kits in it, plenty of different sounds. Each sound is pitch adjustable. You have maybe a couple of hundred different tom sounds in it. Probably 100 different cymbal sounds, and each cymbal sound then can be changed from an 8-inch splash all the way up to a 20-inch china. Overall, I found it really good. It's a complete mesh head apart from the bass drum. I like the mesh head. It gives you a lovely response. Obviously I don't have it switched on, but I love the response compared to the older electronic kits which just had a plastic head, and it was horrible. I remember having to use them for recordings in studios before, and hated playing them. This does have a couple of problems. All the brackets are plastic, and I broke this one on the very first day I had it. So you do tend to have to tighten a lot and just not get to that stage where you're over tightening. Also the triggers on them have a tendency, if you move around your snare a lot like I do, just from habit from playing live on a real snare, I would often work from the center, and I would do a lot of work out near the rim. So what I'm finding is I keep flattening the trigger and having to take the heads off to adjust them. So I've just had to get used to going back to old school and only hit the middle of the drum. So that's the MPS 750. Overall, very good. I'm happy enough with it. I can't complain. It was a birthday present and a fantastic birthday present. I'm a lucky boy. So the bass drum pedals I'm using, the Pearl Demon Drives. Probably one of my most expensive single musical items in the room at the moment. But man, well worth it. These things are fast. They just glide under your feet. I have them converted to longboard. They have these Ninja bearings, and they're shaft driven. It's direct. It's just the slightest bit of pressure that you put on, you're going to get a response. And I just love the response of these pedals. I just love the way they act under my feet. I feel confident with them. Heel toe technique is just so easy with them. But obviously I've been used to doing heel toe technique on very different pedals. Like I would have always had the more lower end Pearl pedals, chain driven. Even going back to the day where I used to drum with leather belt driven. The leather belt driven I found were better than chain driven for me personally, the way I bass drum. But I would highly recommend these. They are expensive. You can get them cheaper online than you can in country, which is a shame because you should be shopping in your own country. But I find that I have to go outside the country to get affordable musical equipment, which is unfortunate. Now, microphone wise, this is what I started out with. It's just it's a Senator 815, I think. I think that's what it is. It's it'd be a low range microphone in price, but I did a lot of early recordings with this and I found it very, very good, especially using with the BR600. I have a little pop shield there on it. Then with the mixing desk, then I decided to get a condenser mic. So I got this Tannoy TM1, not highly expensive, but it creates really, really good sound, and it picks everything up. Now a lot of people wondering why I don't have a soundproof guard at the back. I don't like the results they produce. I prefer to, I get a little bit of splashback off the walls and stuff that the mic picks up, but it's so faint as to be, you don't hear it, you only hear it in the mix when you have all the other instruments turned down. So I have a pop shield on that, so that's my view through the mic normally. I have my sheet music reader there, which I don't read music, so I just put my lyrics on it. In the background you can see various bands that I've been in, things I've done music wise. So that's my workstation. That's the camera I normally use. It's quite an old camera, so it doesn't give the best results. They're my old stereo speakers that I used to do all my mixing in. My stereo's underneath the desk. What I often do is I will record, master and send to the computer and just keep flipping around. There's Dennis. Dennis, come into focus. There's Dennis. All my leads, my cables, etc. Just did another little pan around my room. There's my effort at lighting. Sorry about the blur, guys. I am no master at this. So that's my room basically. Yeah, getting back to the condenser mic. I feel I don't need the soundproof guard at the back. It probably would give slightly cleaner results, but there's a certain type of sound that I go for, and I get it the way I do things. Here we have my keyboards. It's a Yamaha PSR, I don't know, 125 or something. It's quite old as well, it's about 14 years old. I only use it for putting strings on. I'm afraid I'm a one-fingered piano player. Well, two fingers, so I progressed quite a lot in the last 14 years. Have my little monitor there for my drums sometimes, or for the keyboards. or for just a bit of playback if I'm gigging. I have just various other, an old PA system there. I have the 2 speakers. My wife will attest to the fact that I am a swine for collecting speakers. Here are my guitars. I have a Tanglewood Les Paul copy. I've got my beloved Squier Strat. I love that guitar, my favourite guitar. I have a Echo Explorer copy. I've got an old acoustic there. I do have another acoustic downstairs. And tucked around the corner there is my Christmas present from my beloved family, my jazz bass, which I really enjoy playing. Now, I'm not a guitarist by any shapes or means. I can get by, but I do love playing the bass. Being a drummer, I just love the rhythm section. And there's a view of my studio just from the other slanted wall. And here we go, back to the beginning. So as you can see, you don't need a whole lot of expensive equipment to produce music. I think it just takes time, which luckily I have quite a bit of in the evenings. Patience. You go through patches where you think, oh, where's the music gone? I'm going through one of them at the moment, even though I have 5 songs written. I'm not getting it at the moment. Does concern you, but it happens every year. So at this stage of my life, it'll come when it comes, and when I get up off my arse and do it. You know, so I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. But you don't need a whole lot of expensive equipment. It can be done on a budget. I have no soundproofing in here, apart from a piece of carpet for my acoustic kit. I have a few pieces of cardboard packaging just to help deaden around the window. I have some over at the doors as well. But overall, it's pretty acoustically sound in this room. If you've any questions, don't be afraid to comment, and if I can answer them, I will. I'm no technological wizard. Everything I've learned just by trial and error. I couldn't tell you what I'm doing half the time with EQs and all that. I don't understand all that. I just understand what sounds good to my ear, and that's the way I've worked things over the years. You pick a few pieces up, you know, alright, yeah, we'll drop them. Might want the kit on a -1 decibel or whatever. You learn pick up little things like that, but I'm all self-taught, so anybody can do it. It's just having the courage to do it. So don't be afraid to pick up a pen, write something, hum a bit of music to it. Even if you think you might have heard the tune before, who cares? Who cares? Now, the majority of the equipment I've shown you is, I have 1 or 2 what you'd call low range items, but I would probably be at the top of low range to the start of middle range prices. So anywhere from some stuff starting maybe 300, 400 euro. The microphone cost me, I think it was 85 euros. So I don't know what that's about, 80 sterling, I suppose. I don't know what it'd be in dollars. But yeah, like, so that's starting from then up. You can get everything you want from 200 to 300 euros upwards, which would give you a good production. A lot of people like to mix on their laptops. Now, I know nothing about that. I like to do it all old school and analog as much as I can. I do very, very, very little overdubbing. I try and play my stuff as if you were gigging, and if you needed a 4-piece to play, you could play. Alright, there are 1 or 2 exceptions where I might have a second guitar on, but that's only because, like, I'm not really a great guitarist, so I can't go from playing rhythm into playing lead. If I could, then that's the way I would record. So if you've liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit your notification bell. There will be more stuff coming soon. As I said, I have 5 songs in the pipeline, and I am going to sit down and get it done this week, at least one of them. I have other songs written, but I'm just afraid the quality is not as good. It was recorded before I got most of this equipment, so the quality hasn't been great. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope it gives at least one person a little bit of courage out there just to get something done for themselves and just prove it to yourself. As I said, I mixed for years on these speakers, and I've written what I consider to be 2 or 3 really good songs and with great mixes that came through those speakers. So you can even do it through something like that. So thanks again, we'll catch you soon. Bye.